what did this mean, this supply cut story being extended to the end of this year? Then what does it mean for oil prices, Paul? Because on the one hand, prices had rallied into this news in anticipation of this news and have actually pulled back a little bit.
Yes, they've pulled back a little bit today. I think the main significance was it shows just how aggressive the Saudi Arabians are prepared to be when it comes to these oil cuts. The market was expecting them to be extended, but only for 1 month. And the feeling was that the Saudis would then, decide in another month whether to continue these into November and then into December. But the fact that they said yesterday that no, we're going to go all through, we're going to go and extend these cuts throughout the rest of the year was a signal that they mean business. They seem to be ultra focused on draining global stockpiles and getting that price, the oil price, up a bit. We don't know what, even if they have a target, they may be fine with Brent at around $90 where it is now. But they obviously, the kingdom has humongous oil diversification projects from new cities to buying football players and all this. So it's possible that they may be looking for an even higher price from here.
Paul, how much of this, frankly, is a middle finger from the Russians and the Saudis to President Biden?
I think it's certainly something that's not going to go down well in the White House. However, I think it's important to note that there is a difference between Russia and Saudi Arabia. It may be something that Moscow is very happy to do, i.e. inflict pain on Joe Biden. But when it comes to Saudi Arabia, the White House has actually been trying and succeeding in a lot of ways at improving ties with the kingdom since October, really. And to me, it wasn't a surprise that the White House was quite muted in its response to yesterday's move. It didn't criticize Saudi Arabia. It just said that the White House is looking to keep pump prices in the U.S. Steady, and it's watching those carefully. If oil goes up higher, and especially if we reach $100 a barrel, that might change things. And at that point, the U.S. might start getting, showing its frustrations in public with Saudi Arabia. But for now, there's a lot going on. The U.S. wants Saudi Arabia eventually to recognize Israel, for example. That's high on Biden's agenda. I really doubt he'd want to derail those talks, which could happen if he decided to pick a fight over yesterday's move.